Okay, so good morning to all. Uh, so welcome everyone for this class. This being the maybe the first online, second online class. What we are trying to do. For this week we'll be having maybe this week and next week we'll see. We'll go with online. So then based on the situation, we'll take a call whether to go online or offline classes. So this and next week we'll be having the online classes. In the last class, we were discussing on the uh, what we call as a list actually. Okay, today we'll try to discuss on the next type of the data type. Okay, that is called tuple. Okay, so Python tuple. So this is also a kind of a compound data type, very similar to lists. It's very similar to lists. Okay, now this tuples, how it is different from a list actually. See, in list actually we used to change the elements or what we call it as items in the list actually. In tuple, we can't change it. We cannot change the elements or items as we used to do in the list actually. So in the list actually we used to do some kind of an operations where we used to add, maybe deletes. Only thing what we can do in this tuple is actually we can either delete the old tuple. Okay. Now how I can create a tuple? Okay. A tuple is created by a tuple is created by placing all the elements by created by placing the elements or the items within the parenthesis. Okay, inside the parenthesis. Okay, what it is actually, it is a regular parenthesis what we used to do, and the elements are separated by, see, the elements are separated by comma. The elements are separated by simple comma. See, I have seen couple of textbooks where they tell that parentheses are optional. Okay. See, even though some of the textbooks they tell that the having this brackets or what we call it as parentheses, it's an optional. Okay, but still it's a good practice. Even though the parenthesis is optional, but a good practice to have them. A good practice to use them, use the parenthesis. So this is the best possible thing what we can do. Okay. Now, when I tell that it's of the compound data type, it's very similar to list. We can have an integer or a float. It can have a string. And one more thing, what we can do is actually this particular thing. It can have a list itself. A tuple can have a list inside its as an element or an item. And one beautiful thing, what when I have a tuple, inside it I have a list actually. Within the list, I can do the modifications. Those things I can do. So a tuple can have n number of items, or it can include the list also. Okay, it can have a string, it can have a complex, it can have an integer, all those things. Now let's try to look in some examples. Okay, examples how to create a tuple. Let's try to create a simple tuple. Okay, what it is actually, let me create. So create a tuple. Let me call it as some tuple 1. Tuple 1. So if it consists of integers, So it will be just, I'll put 1, comma 2, comma 3 or 4, comma 5, comma 6. If it is having that to create a tuple of multiple mixed data types, that is mixed data type. If I have it, so let the tuple one, it can have, so let me call it as one integer, that is 2. So it can have something like maybe a string. Let me call it as some name. It can have a float. So let me call it as some 3.6. So whatever it may be. Look at this. I am trying to use a simple parenthesis. But in case of a list, actually, I was using a square bracket. A square bracket was used to create a list. But in a tuple, I am going to use a simple parenthesis to do it. Now, if I want to print this, what will happen? So print within my brackets tuple 1. If I do that, what will be my output? The output will be, it will be simply, it will be 2, comma, name, comma, 3.6. This will be my output. Okay. Now, can it have a nested tuple? So let's give an example for a nested tuple. What are the nested tuple? Nested tuple. So I was telling you that a tuple can consist of an integer, float, string, and another list. So it can have another list. So what I'm going to do actually, in the next example, I'm going to create a tuple. Okay, I'm going to create a tuple. Let me call it as tuple 2. So it can have, let me have a string. Let me call it as maybe name. So let me call it as some bottle. So this is a string. Okay. Now let me have a list inside it. So let the list be of some odd numbers. Okay. So 1, comma 3, comma 5, comma 7. Okay. Now can it contain one more tuple inside it? Yes. So the tuple can be, so let it be some even numbers, 2, 4, 6. Okay. Then I'm going to close it. So this is a nested tuple. So nested tuple can contain an integer, float, string, list, and other than that, it can have another tuple itself. So such thing we call it as nested tuple. Now, one beauty thing here is actually I can do modification for the list. I can do the changes for the list, but I can't do any changes for the tuple. So now if I try to print it, so simple, I have to go print tuple 2, and I'll get the output bottle with the list 1357, and with the tuple 246, I'll get the output. Okay, this is called as the nested tuple. Can I create a tuple or a list with empty thing? So I can create an empty tuple also. What it is actually? An empty tuple. Okay, what it is actually? Let me call it as tuple 3 or whatever it may be. So simply I will put an empty bracket. So what will be my output? My output will be simply, see, if I do this and if I try to print it, if I do this and print it, what I'm going to get actually, I'm going to get a simple empty thing. So I try to print tuple 3. So what will be my output? My output will be simply a bracket. Simply a bracket. Okay. So this is how you can create a tuple. Okay. So as I told, the tuple also can be created without bracket also, without parenthesis. So if I want to do that, so I can do that. So let me give that example also. So it's always a good practice to go with the brackets or parenthesis. Maybe you can create a tuple without bracket also. You can do that. So if I want to do that, let me create that one example and show you. So a tuple without any parenthesis. A tuple without the parenthesis. Tuple without any parenthesis. So tuple without any parenthesis means without any brackets. That's the meaning of it. Without parenthesis. So let me create that. Let me call it as some tuple 4. I'm not going to do any bracket. Just I'll start with an integer, some 3, comma. So let me start with one float. Let it be 5.7. So let me start with one string, maybe a dog. Okay, let me have one more list actually. So the list, it should be 1, 3, 5, 7. So now if I try to print it, print tuple 4, what will be my output? My output will be, see, when even though you are not given any bracket, that is parenthesis, my output will be within the square bracket. So this is what I am going to get. 3, 5.7, dog, 1, 3, 5, 7 within my braces. So if I do this, I'll be getting this. This is just an output. But if it's a simple thing, see, tuple unpack, see, sometimes we try to do unpacking also. So maybe if you try to look into tuple unpacking, so when I try to unpack it, it may give an example, it may give an output without any braces. So let me give that example also. Say here I have told that, say, let me tell that also. So it is called as tuple unpacking or unpacking of the the tuple. So let me call it as some x comma yz is equal to some tuple 5. Okay. Now here if I try to print, see what's happening at tuple 4, because already I created the tuple 4, no? Yeah. So this is tuple 4. What I'm trying to do, I am trying to refer your x, y, z. Okay, x, y, z. And if you want, I can remove x, y, or a, b, c, d, because I have 4 letters. Let me write that. It will be a, comma, b, comma, c, comma, d is equal to tuple 4. So I am referring 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. So now 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. I am trying to refer. Now if I try to print it, what will happen? Print A. What should be my output? See, corresponding to this, the output should be 3 without any braces. Without any braces I am going to get. So if I try to print B, what will be my output? My output will be 5.7 without any braces. If I put print C, the output will be simply a dog without any string or without any inverted commas. If I try to put print C, the output will be a dog without any braces. Even if I try to print D, it will be 1, 3, 5, 7 with list as the braces. So see, if I try to print D, my output will be this, because it is a list. But there won't be any braces for the or parentheses for the tuple. But there is a bracket or the square bracket for the list. So this you have to remember. It's a bit tricky. Okay, so creating the tuple with one element or whatever it may be, all those things with the tuples and all, is a bit tricky. It all goes by some kind of a practice. See, having one element within a parenthesis. Okay, if you have only one element within the parenthesis, then you need not put a a comma and all. See, here how many elements I have? I have 4 elements. Then I have to put a comma. So if I have one element, it doesn't make any sense within my parenthesis putting a bracket or putting a comma. If I have a string, say for example, tuple 4 is equal to only dog. So just I'll put in parenthesis, just I'll put within inverted commas, I'll put a dog. Okay. Now, when you do such things actually, either unpacking or this or some kind of, see the only operation what we can do is here is actually, it's unpacking. If you want to just check what type it is actually, if you want you can check the corresponding type, your maybe particular tuple 4 or 5, whatever it may be, you will get what type of class it is, whether it is a string class or a tuple class. So now, as I have created a tuple here, see, as I have created tuple 4, so if I go and check, see, as I created a tuple here, if I go and print, okay, print type, okay, tuple 4, what should be my output? My output should be, it should be able to tell it is of class within your single inverted comma, it will tell it is of tuple class. This you have to remember. Tuple is also one kind of data type class data type. Okay, you will be able to clearly tell that whether if it's only I'm looking at only strings or maybe string, it will tell it's of string class. If it is an kind of what is called as maybe an integer, it will give an integer class. If it's a float, it will give a float class. Now, is there an indexing different from your what we studied in your list actually? The indexing works the same way. Okay. So there are, see, even you can access, see, you can access the tuple elements. So how to access? Access the tuple elements. Tuple elements are items. How to access the tuple elements are this thing. So here also we try what is called as indexing. Indexing. So now we use an index operator. Say what is this index operator? Indexing is nothing but what we used to do actually. Indexing is always done within your square bracket. Now, how the indexing is done? So suppose let me before how to explain this indexing, let me try to create a tuple. So what is the tuple? Let me create a tuple. So as an example, let me create a tuple. So let me call it as some tuple 5 is equal to, so within the this thing, let me call it as, so parent, okay. Okay, I have created a 6 element tuple with the name that is for a parent. I have created like this. Okay. Now, how many elements are there? 6 elements are there. Now, I want to do some kind of indexing. What are the indexing? How the indexing will work actually? Indexing is very similar to what you have studied in your list actually. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. How it used to go? No, it starts with, so your positive indexing is starts with 0, and negative indexing to the right, maybe last list, maybe your tuple, it starts with -1. Suppose let me print. Say for example, if I want to print this tuple 5, so the indexing is, as I told, it is done with the square bracket. So if I try to index tuple 0, what should be my output? The output is actually, if at the moment if I give, my output will be P. The output should be P. If I try to give print tuple name, okay, index 4. Index 4. What should be my output actually? It should be your, say, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your output should be n. Your output should be n. It's not within this thing. It is n. If it is 5, the output would have been T. If it is 2, the output would have been, see, if I put actually, if I put 2, the output would have been E. So I can clearly, it's because it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is positive indexing. Suppose if it is negative indexing, it would have been -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. So indexing, what we learned in lists, the same indexing method holds good for your tuple also. See, the indexing is used to do some kind of accessing it. Okay, the indexing should be an integer. See, whenever I try to give this number, no, this should be an integer. Don't try to give tuple 5 4.0. If I give 4.0, it will give a what is called as an error. We'll look into this errors, different types of errors in Python. So we will get this. I think it's a simple typo error. It's a type error. Okay, or we can't use a float as the index number, or it should be always an integer to access the elements of the tuple. Is that clear? So the elements of the tuple should be a index, or it should be an integer. Is it possible for me, say for example, let me create one a compound or nested tuple. Let me create a nested tuple and try to see this index operation. Okay, let me create one nested tuple. Okay, nested tuple. So let me call it as sum. So tuple 6 is equal to, so it is mobile. This is a string. Okay, within that I have an a list actually. So let it be some 6, 4, 8. It's a list of integers. Then I have one more tuple. So let it be 3, 2, 1. Okay, let me close it. It's a mixed nested one. Now, how to index this? So let me call that as indexing the nested tuple. Nested tuple. Say I want to get some kind of a 0, 3. See, your tuple 0, 3 if I give, or Z1, 1. If I give 1, 1, what I'm going to get? If I get, let me go and do this actually, do that operation. Print, so tuple name, that is tuple 6. So let me try this 0. Okay, then let me try this actually. So it should be 3, 0, 3. So what should be my output here? What should be my output? The output should be within the string. Okay, the output should be within the string. That means here, see, within this particular thing, look at this. I'll be getting, see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The output should be, see, 0, 1, 2, see here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The output what I'm going to get is actually, it is the B. The output what I'm going to get is the B. So suppose if I give print tuple 6, 1 and 1. Okay, for this what will be the output? Okay, see, the total, see, if I go with the whole tuple, it is 0, 1, 2. That corresponds to the first number. Okay. And second one corresponds to what is inside this. Are you getting? So that's why I'm trying to give an example. And so now 1 means what will happen? It will go to the list which is 6 4 y actually. So here I am having 0 1 2. Okay. Now what should be my output? The output should be 1 1. It should be 4. So that's how you can do the indexing. You can do the indexing in your tuples using the tuples. Same way I can do the negative indexing also. Negative indexing will work if I try to use -1. Say for example, if I go and just check for example, if I go and look at over here. So if I try to print tuple 5, let me put -2. So it should be square bracket. Okay, tuple 5 -2. So what will be my output? The output will be n. The output will be n because it is -2. If I give tuple -5, the output would have been, so print tuple 5 -5, the output would have been a. So Python allows both positive indexing as well as negative indexing for all its sequential operations or accessing it. Okay. For negative indexing, as I told, the index of -1 refers to the last item. Okay. Subsequently followed by -2, -3, and so on till I get the first element or first item. So the index of the -1 refers to the last item or element or character, and it will go on from -1, -2. It will go on till I get the first character. That number is assigned. If the 10 letter maybe your tuple, the -10 is assigned to that. So it starts with -1. It will go on till -10 or whatever it may be. Okay. As I told, changing the tuple is not allowed, or so in what we call it as maybe list, we used to call it as they are mutable. Mutable means you can add, remove, delete, all those things. But in case of a tuple, you can't do. So what we can tell actually, the tuples are unmutable. The tuples are unmutable. Okay, unmutable means you can't change. You cannot modify. To be very precise, you cannot modify. Once that means once I assign a particular thing. See, once I assign a tuple, it is 5. You can't change it. But if the tuple what I have within the tuple, if I have a list actually, if it is a nested one, see, you can, but 1 minute, let me put that in a. This is one particular thing which is, if there is a nested tuple, if there is a nested tuple, see, if there is a nested tuple which has a list in it, the list is mutable. That means I can change the list or elements in the list. It can only happen if it is a nested tuple, because that's mutable. Okay. That slicing operator. Is there a slicing operator? What we used to do? What is the slicing? Just getting a part of it. We can access it. Accessing the tuple is fine, but changing the tuple is not there. So we learned what is called as indexing. We are done. Negative indexing, both we have done. Indexing both positive as well as negative indexing. Is there an operation what is called as slicing in slicing the tuple? Yes, it can be done. So slicing in a tuple, slicing the tuple, yes, it can be done. What is it actually? See, we can access the range of characters or items by using a simple slicing operator, what is called as colon. Okay, this is a colon. This is the slicing operator. The same slicing operator we used in your list also. The same slicing operator can be used for your tuple also. So tuple and your list will be using a similar slicing operator. So let me go back and see an example. Okay, let me see an example. So let me create one tuple. Create a tuple. Okay, let me create a tuple. So let me call it as tuple 7. I'm just going by so that it will be easy for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let me go with some name. Okay, so sanitizer, something like that. So S A N I T I Z E R. Okay. Now, if I try to index this, actually, what it is actually positive indexing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I go with the negative indexing, it is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9. I have marked this actually. Now, let me do some slicing operation. So elements between second to fourth. Okay. Let me check for slicing between elements are your, maybe we call it as a list, elements between second to fourth, and I want to do some operation. So what I will do actually, print tuple 7, it should be within the square bracket. Okay, that is 1 to 4. So what is the second item here? The second item is 1 and the fourth item. So once again it goes with inclusion. See, once again the same thing what we have learnt. This is included and this is excluded. Except if I try to leave it blank. Okay. Now included and this thing, what will be my output? My output for this will be A. Okay. I have what it will be within your bracket. It will be A, that is the second item, then N, okay, then I. Okay. A, N, I will be my output. That's all, because I am looking at only second to fourth item. That is A, N, I. Suppose I want to output something like a particular element. Okay, particular element starting with maybe only the last P and R. So I have to start with it actually. I can go with either you can go with start with colon. It starts with 0. Then simply if you leave it blank, it will take the last item, inclusion of last item. Okay. Now let me try with one more thing, that is print. Okay, it is tuple 7. Let me try with colon, okay, -7, colon -7. So what it is going to do here? What is the beginning thing here? See, you have to be very careful. I think this we didn't do in the list also. What is my beginning here? The beginning is minus 9. Look at this. It will start from this thing, this side. What is ending? Ending is minus 7. What will be my output? Okay, my output, see, this is excluded. See, this is, see, minus 7. It will go with only the last two letters. So my output will be like this is one tricky thing. My output will be only yes and a. That's all. If I try to give this print tuple 7 colon minus 7. So it starts with the minus 9 beginning and it will end with the 8, that is actually. So it will end with that particular thing, that is your minus. So it's excluded. See, minus 7 is excluded. If I give a simple number, it will take that. Now if I try to give a particular range, elements beginning to end, if I want, say simple, sometimes people will do this actually. If I want to print all the elements from beginning to end, simple print and give the tuple, whatever you want. Or if you want to do the particular operation, just put colon, or if you want only elements, a particular number to end, that is from 8th to end. Or maybe let me call it as some 5th to end. I want to print in the tuple 7 from 5th to end actually. So what it is going to do actually, it will go here, it will take 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. See, what is this actually? This is included. If I leave it blank, that is also included. So what will be my output for this? My output for this, if I go this, actually, it will be I, okay, Z, E and R. All the 4 letters are included. See, the slicing or indexing, this particular thing, I can do these operations on the tuple. But only thing is, I can't change the tuple. I can't do any modifications with tuple. But you can do the addition and all. So we can use the plus operator, combine two tuples and all, what we used to do, no? Like in the list. So if I want to add two lists, actually we use plus actually. So that is called as a concatenation. Okay. So that same thing you can do here also. Adding two lists, or if I want to multiply a particular list or tuples by 2 times or 3 times, the same multiplication. So whatever the operation we used to do on the list, the same can be done here also. But you see one particular thing, you can't modify the elements within your tuple. That particular thing you can't do. So if I want to delete a tuple, so if I want to delete a tuple, delete or remove the tuple, not the elements, don't confuse. Delete or remove the whole tuple. You can't remove the elements in the tuple, but you can remove the whole tuple. So say for example, already I have created a tuple 7. So if I want to remove it, so just I'll simply go on del tuple name I'm going to get either 7, or if I want to remove del tuple 6 like this. So it can delete the what this operation will do. It will delete the entire tuple, created tuple. Entire tuple is deleted. Entire tuple is deleted. So that's how you can do the operation with the tuple. Okay. So the other things are there, maybe iterations, all those things are done. I think in some of the textbooks they keep asking this actually, or maybe in the examination they say, what are the advantage of tuple over the list actually? Is there some pros and cons? Is what we saw. See, as I told, both are of compound data types. Both are of compound types. Both can be used for a particular situation. However, see, there are certain advantages of implementing tuple over a list. Okay. Now, as I told, tuples and maybe or your lists. So lists are called as homogeneous. Lists are most of the time, I think, majority of the time, lists are used for homogeneous type of data types. Homogeneous data types. That is, if I want only integers, even though it can be used, but most of the time they will be used for only homogeneous data types. But tuples are used for heterogeneous data type, different types of data types. So that's one thing. And tuples are immutable. And because of, see, let me call it as advantages. But still, both lists and tuples, you can use complex data types. But advantages, the major advantage is actually, since the tuples are immutable, iterating, that means iterating a tuple is faster. That means the time it takes to process. So iterating through a tuple is faster, okay, than a list. This is one major advantage. This maybe I can call it as, if you try to look at the performance wise, there is a little bit of performance boost on the tuple side compared to your list. Okay. Now, as the tuples are immutable, can be used as a key for a dictionary. I'll come to the dictionary later. So tuples are as the tuples are immutable, as tuples are immutable, okay, immutables, they can be used as key in a dictionary. I think when I discuss the dictionary, no, you will understand what is this actually. That means I'm not changing any of the element and all. So that what is the key actually? Key is nothing but a reference, just like an indexing. Just like an indexing. So we had number 0, 1, 2, 3 and all. But when I go to the dictionary, I'm going to assign it. Say, for example, name or USN number, something like that. I'm going to assign a particular key to it. So that is called as a dictionary. Okay, that's the second advantage. The third advantage is, see, you have a data that doesn't change. Implementing it as a tuple will remain. That means it becomes write protected. Okay, are you getting? So it becomes, see, whenever I process data of tuple, it becomes write protected. I think if you guys might be knowing, earlier we used to have something called as a floppy. You people don't know, maybe some of you are attending. We used to have something called as rewrite, maybe a writable CD and maybe RCD and WRCD. Even if you're looking at a compact CDs, actually, there are certain CDs which are write protected. That means I'm going to get a CD with a particular amount of data, or some software will come. You can't write it again because already some data is there. You can't overwrite on that particular CD or a DVD, whatever it may be. It's very, your tuple is very similar to that. That means you can use it, but you can't overwrite on it. That means it is write protected. So these are the advantages of tuple over your other types of data. That is, to be very precise, only list we have discussed actually on the list. So if there are any doubts, please unmute and we can take up further discussions. Anyone, please unmute, or if there is anything, you can raise your hands. We can discuss. there are any questions, you can type in. Is it clear? I think I have tried to discuss in detail all the things with respect to tuple. Otherwise, I have to call out the names. But it is what I told. It's something like it is a consists of a set of characters. So now, when I speak of characters, your computer will understand only the by that is what we call it as maybe binary code, that is 0 and 1. Okay, that's what it understands. But a string, I can create it by putting within the what we call it as inverted commas, single inverted commas or a double inverted commas. When I look into the English as a language, it has around 26 letters or characters, which are all called as symbols. So what we need to do actually, when I try to give this string, I need to convert this. We call it as encoding. Convert this format so that your computer can understand. So in 1960s or 68, 60s or something all, so what we started was actually there is something called as ASCII format of encoding. And the later one, recently I think in around 1980s or 90s, we moved into what is called as Unicode format of formatting. UTF, we call it as UTF. Now, so when we speak of Unicode and all, no, Python is built on Unicode formatting. That is especially, to be very precise, UTF-8 actually. If you want more information on this particular thing, you can just go to the any of the Google website, just type in Python Unicode, you will get more information on it. What is this Python Unicode, or what is a Unicode format, all those things you will get it. So if I want to create a string can be created by having the characters or elements within a single quote or double inverted quotes. That's the first thing. Even I can have a string of multiple lines by having that particular lines within the triple inverted commas, which is rarely used. Single inverted comma, double inverted comma is regularly used, and triple inverted commas or triple quotes is rarely used actually, where I am going to use a multiple lines as a string. Now, if I want to access this string, very similar to the lists or tuples, indexing is one particular thing what we are trying to look into. Indexing, very similar to that. So if you start with positive indexing, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, till the last letter, or negative indexing, it goes from last letter to the first letter. Okay. Now that's the indexing. Now if I want to do, why this indexing? I want to do a particular operation on it. I want to print it. I want to do some kind of a thing on that particular string what I have created. So indexing, I will put within the bracket, square bracket, put the integer. So here also you should know, you are not supposed to put the float, you are supposed to put the integer over there. Or sometimes I want to get an output of a particular elements or characters of a string. So I will use what is called as a slicing operator. So whatever we used earlier in the lists and tuples, the same operation, that is your colon will be the slicing operator. So now if I want, I'm trying to create a string. So by the name what is called as thermostyle. So thermostyle is one particular name I am giving for the string. So if I want to print the fourth character of it, that means fourth means M I want to print actually. So just I'll just go string within my square bracket, I'm going to put 4. So what I'm going to get, M is the output, which is the fifth character. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the fifth character. So if I want to print the whole thing, I will just go and type print the string itself. So if I go and if I want to go and to put the -1, it will print the last character. If I try to put maybe a slicing operation 1:5, inclusion, exclusion, it can be positive or it can be negative. So I'll be getting the output. If I go from 1:5, I'm going to get HE. So first character to EM, that is THERM. So in that only HERM I'm going to get. So if you want to get the fifth character to the -2, so inclusion of fifth, that is O is included, -2 is the 8, that is is excluded. So I'm going to get OST. OST as the output. So OST. So there are two double E's actually. One is included, so as the output. So the double E, the second E is excluded. So I'll be getting such output or such slice operations I can do, either indexing or operations. Now, very similar to your tuples actually, your strings also called as immutable. What is immutable? I can't change or do any modifications to my elements or characters within my string. Okay, but there is one option where you can reassign it. What is it actually? Say if I am created the string, say you give an example I've given. I have created a string called as bottle. So that's what I am assigning it actually. So within the code, after certain maybe after certain lines, I want to reassign it. So what I can do, I can string 1, I'm going to put it as water as another string. So what is happening here? I am reassigning it. So the earlier one, bottle, which was string 1, that gets replaced by water. So whenever you reassigning, the latest string gets replaced or retained. The earlier one automatically it gets deleted. That's one kind of what is called as assigning and reassigning. Is it possible? As I told that strings are immutable, I can only the option I can do is I can do remove or deleting. So when you do this operation, del command, if I try to put actually del that particular string name, it is going to remove the complete string. Whatever the string I have created, that string gets removed. Is there an addition operation or I can do a multiplication operation on the string? Yes, you can do. Say for example, I am trying to create two strings. So let me the first string I am calling it as str was equal to water. str2 I am calling it as a bottle. I can add it water bottle if I want to get an output. So I can do it actually str3 if I try to print, I am going to get water bottle. So I want to get the multiplication or I want to get that particular, I want to get the same string n number of times, multiple times. So I want to get it for 2 times, just str*2, I'll get the first string what I'm going to create a water, I'll get it 2 times printed. So these are something like addition and multiplication operation. What I used to do on the maybe lists and tuples, the same thing can be done on the string also. And there's one more advantage when I speak of your string actually. I can do some kind of an operation on it. What is that operation? So I want to check for iterations. So this is called as iterating through a loop. Check for a particular character inside it. Okay, just I have taken an example. So my name, hello Devraj, is one particular thing I've taken. In that I want to check for how many times A is getting repeated. Simple, let me put it in a if for loop and check for the, give the condition, if condition, and check for number of times. That's all I've done. So every time it will check for that particular thing and it will give the output as A, how many times it gets. So I'm starting with the count as 0. So if you run the code actually, it will tell output is equal to 2 times the letter A is present in the string. So this is called as iterating through a loop to get the count or number of times that particular letter is there. So instead of A, I could have put L. So LL also double L. So L also it is appearing for 2 times. If I put E, E is also appearing for 2 times. If I put H, it is appearing for 1 time. So like this, I can do iterative operation within the string. Okay. Now, there are certain built-in functions are there in your there are some built-in functions. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, there are some built-in functions which we can use in your string operations. Okay, so the built-in functions are what we have here is actually to find the length of the string.
So we can't see what you're sharing.
Yeah. There is some problem. So 1 minute.
Oh.
I'm just coming back. Yeah, now you can see. You should be able to see. Yeah, fine. So what is this actually? Two built-in functions very regularly used in your string operations. Okay, one being the to find the length of the or number of characters of that particular string. So everything say I want to use this actually. So the first function what you use the len within your braces I will put the string name. Okay. Now if you put it over here actually if you want say for example I have put a string I have created a string what is called as a cough. So str2 is equal to within my single inverted commas I am putting as cough cough. Now if I try to find the length of it, what is the output actually? The output is of 5 characters or length of that particular string is actually it's 5. Okay. Now using the list operation, if I want to find the index value of each character, if I want to find the index value of each character, we will use what is called as one more function, built-in function, what is called as enumerate. So enumerate within the string if I try to do. So here as I told it is of indexing it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the characters that is assigned? 0 is assigned to C, 1 is assigned to O, 2 is assigned to U, 3 is assigned to G, 4 is assigned to H. So like this I can do some operations and I can cross check it. Okay, this is what we call it as built-in functions which do work within your Python. Okay, and there is one more operations we try to do in string actually. So that we call it as escape sequence. Escape sequence means so we try to look for a particular character in a particular string. So using some operation like /n, /r, /t, tab, all those things, which is regularly used in your regular expressions. So when I take up the regular expressions, so I will take this string as one of the particular file which may be having certain amount of strings, and we'll try to work on certain examples where we will understand the string operations, or we call it as escape string formatting. We call it as, to be very precise, we call that as string formatting. So formatting a particular string is what we will try to discuss in it. So that one particular thing, when I take up the particular subtopic, you will be in a better position to understand it. So that's why I am not discussing on this string